Hello, my name is Andre Komrink and I'm Extension Manager for CRI based in the Eastern Cape. Fruit fly pose a serious threat to citrus in South Africa. The Natal fruit fly and the Mediterranean fruit fly are indigenous species that are widely spread in citrus orchards in South Africa, and farmers need to monitor for these two fly species. There are a couple of different trap systems that are registered for monitoring these fly species in citrus orchards. In this video, we're going to look at the bucket trap system that you can also use on the farm to monitor for Mediterranean and Natal fruit fly. It is again a pretty simple system. As the name says, it's a bucket trap. This is the bucket part of the trap. This is the sort of a translucent lid that basically just clicks onto the top like that. This trap comes with the wire attachment that you would use to hang it into the tree. As I said, it's got the lid, and this is a bucket receptacle where the fruit flies will collect. So this bucket trap also comes with 3 translucent pipes that you need to insert into the trap. Very important here that these pipes gets inserted from the outside of the trap pointing in. Like that. The reason for this is this is a means of the flies will enter the trap through these pipes. There's 2 ways the flies will come in through these pipes, and then it's also through this funnel shaped opening at the bottom of the bucket trap. If the pipes are inserted from the inside out, this flies can escape very easily, so it's very important to insert it from the outside in, and this makes it very difficult for the flies that are entering the trap to exit the trap again through these, if the pipes are protruding on the inside, and also through this funnel mechanism at the bottom. Then you have to use an insecticide, which is a DDVP block. Works on a gas action to kill the flies entering the trap. The DDVP insecticide block has to be inserted into the bottom of the trap first. So this is to kill the flies entering the traps, making sure that you can then count them on they stay inside the trap, so you can count them on your weekly basis. Then this trap is registered with the BioLure fruit fly. It comes in a packet. This has already been removed. You open the packet, and this is basically, this white part here would be the attractant lure. This lure, the BioLure fruit fly, will attract female flies of the Mediterranean and the Natal fly. It gets inserted into the trap like that. Just make sure you insert it like this, and not that it covers or partly covers one of these pipes here where the flies will enter the trap. So slide it in between these pipes like that. Your insecticide is in there, and then basically you twist the lid back on, and it's ready to be deployed into the tree. In deploying the fruit fly traps into the tree or into the orchard, there's a couple of things to note here. In hanging the traps, you basically want to use the shady side of the tree. You don't want to be hanging it on the, let's say, the afternoon sun side of the tree. The idea is to keep it out of direct sunlight. You're also not going to be hanging it on the outside of the canopy. Aim more towards the inside of the canopy here, so you can get it also out of the wind, the path of the wind, and it also make sure that it doesn't collect too much dust if it's hung on the inside, basically, of the canopy. So when hanging out the traps into the orchard, you would like to clear a space, let the trap hang freely. There's no leaves or fruit cluttering the trap. This is basically so the pheromone can disperse evenly, and also to keep the ants out and to give free access for the flies to enter the trap. Important also to note when hanging out this trap into the orchard is on the wire part here that you're going to use to hang it onto the branch. We basically want to keep the ants out of this trap, because the ants will enter the trap and remove the flies that you are trying to count on a weekly basis, which is not what we want. So a good means to do that would be to put a grease, or we recommend a petroleum jelly, just to coat a piece of the wire here. When you hang it into the tree, in so doing you'll basically keep the ants from entering the trap and removing your flies. All these traps get hung out in exactly the same way, about 1.5 meters from the ground level. General adult, it'll be between shoulder and head height. In terms of hanging out the traps in the trees as well into the orchard, we prefer that it doesn't get hung in the middle of the orchard. We prefer that you hang it out on the outside 2 to 4 rows of an orchard, so it's basically covered almost like the outside boundary of the orchard. These tree traps must be spaced at least 30 meters apart, so it'll be good to mark these traps on your farm map, or mark the trap in some way so the monitor can easily find it. Another way would be just to deploy it in a sort of a grid system that makes sense to the individual farm or farmer, making it easy for him to monitor these traps on a weekly basis. For more information on where the trap must specifically be hung for the different traps, you can also consult the attractant lure labels, which will also explain a little bit more on how the trap should be deployed into a tree. For more information about fruit fly monitoring and fruit fly management, you can always contact your local area extension manager or visit our website. On the website you'll be able to also find CRI's fruit fly management guidelines. In there you'll find further information on trap thresholds and a bit more detail on everything to do with fruit fly management and citrus orchards in South Africa. Thank you.